All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is David Bush. I'm alongside Jim Cathcart, the motivation expert, and we've got a tremendous show for you today. This is episode 10 of The Extraordinary Life, and we're going to be talking about productivity. Getting stuff done with the Productivity Pro, Laura Stack. Many of you are well familiar with her, but I'm going to have Jim handle the introduction because they are the best of friends. So, Jim, take it over.
Thank you, and what a privilege it is. I've known Laura for many years through the National Speakers Association. We are colleagues, and because we're colleagues, we became good friends, and I've been an admirer of hers and just a fan in a big way for many, many years. Laura made a wise decision early on in her speaking career. She picked a lane, and chose productivity as her focus. Started out with the emphasis being on time management because that was the broader category that everybody identified with. And then she realized productivity was the essence of time management. It's not about time. It's about what you get accomplished within a context of a certain amount of time. And Laura has gone from being just a member of the National Speakers Association to being a chapter leader in the Colorado chapter. She's in the Denver area. And then went on to become a member of the National Board of Directors and then the National President. And she and I have had a chance to mentor each other and do a little accountability coaching once in a while. And I've come to know her and her husband, John, for a long period of time now. And Laura is the author of a number of books. She's been inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame, which is CPAE, Continuare Proficius Articulatus Excellere, or Council of Peers Award for Excellence, member of the Speaker Hall of Fame. She's a certified speaking professional, and she's just about one of the coolest people I've ever met. Hi, Laura.
Oh my gosh. How am I? I'm not going to fit through the door after that. Blush. Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Give us an overview of what the nature of your business is today.
Oh my. Well, after 25 years now, after having picked that lane in productivity, I do mostly still speaking, keynote speaking. I also do on-site training, half day, full day. Continue to write. My newest book comes out in January 2018 called Faster Together, Accelerating Your Team's Productivity.
I like that. But just a second, your last book just came out, it seemed to me. It's probably been out over a year now, but it seems like it was just yesterday. What was the title of that one?
That was How the Effective Executive Spends Time Doing the Right Things Right. So all productivity related.
Yeah.
But just in different areas, depending upon what my audiences are saying and what I'm seeing and asking for. But every 2 years, I put a book out. Every 2 years without fail. So, I love to write, but that provides the springboard and the basis, really, of my next programs. Got to have something fresh and creative and innovative, I think, to put in front of your clients in the marketplace. And as a result of doing all that, I do a lot of, I do spokesperson work.
That's fun.
I'm currently a Samsung spokesperson. So those assignments come and go. I do a lot of media. I have royalties. I mean, I kind of cobble together a business as a result of many different multiple streams and products.
Plus you and John are building another business we'll get to in a little bit.
Yes.
That's exciting. Leadership USA.
Leadership USA.
That's the thing. I've written 18 books now, and
I know. I'm just following in your footsteps. I'm just trying to be like.
No. But mine have covered a broad range. I've got Relationship Selling, the Acorn Principle, which is a psychologically based book. I've got the Self-Motivation Handbook, a number of others, and that's good.
Yeah.
It gives a good broad reach, but I'm jealous of your focus because you indeed chose productivity. And I can see a client calling you and saying, hey, yeah, we understand you're a good speaker and all that, and you're going to make this an exciting conference for us, and we'd like you to be our spokesperson because of your specialty. not because of your personality alone, but because of your specialty, because your specialty attached to our product makes it more appealing in the marketplace. What can you do for our company? And I can see how your wheels would turn, knowing you like I do. Tell me about your company. Tell me what you're trying to produce. Mm-hmm. Let's look at where the log jams are. I'll show you how to get people past that and keep them that way. And here are the tools to keep on doing it. Can you describe a typical scenario with one of your clients?
Yes, that is very relevant, exactly what you've said. And I think that it's not that some people don't specialize, because they actually are specialized in general. You're a success, a performance, a motivator. Yeah. And so I think it lends itself to having more variety. Mm-hmm. The challenge with picking a lane is, of course, if you pick a lane that nobody wants, or if the topic isn't hot anymore, and you have to continue to reinvent yourself. I mean, even though I've picked a lane, if I would have had the one book I wrote in 2004, and that would have been the end of it, I don't think I would have had a very glorious career, but it does give you the benefit of pretty much having seen it all. I mean, in this field, if they're looking for someone in productivity, then that's the kind of call I'm going to get. So the fortunate thing is I don't have to spend a whole lot of time studying a whole bunch of other things. But
there's something else that's cool about it is productivity, kind of like sales. There's a very clear, obvious payoff. In other words, when they look at your fee, for example, and instead of saying, oh, well, we could get another speaker for that kind of a fee, that's not the point.
Right. Well, and if you can prove that the result of you being there, let's say I can improve, productivity by 5%, 10%, and you have 10 people on a team, and I can improve by 10%. Well, now you have the equivalent of 11 people headcount, and you didn't have to add any salary expense. This is pretty easy to justify. And in fact, we've calculated it for some, that they want to show 15-to-1 ratio, 25-to-1 ratio for the investment of having Laura here. And then it's pretty easy to justify.
I love that.
So, but I think out of that, I've been able to develop other revenue streams, such as assessments. Being every one of my books, I have written in an assessment and have had them statistically validated to make sure the questions are valid. Yeah. And that way I can put them online and have the group take an assessment, and I can pull down the results in the back end, and I can reflect some really accurate data back to the group that only helps me customize, because then I know what their challenges are and what their hurdles are. And I think that's a great approach that anybody could take. It's very simple to make a standard Likert scale 1 to 5, to what extent do you, and that way you're customized, your content's extremely customized, you charge for that, and then you can have a sustainability program to make sure those needs are met and to kind of keep that momentum going. So
let's explain for the uninitiated listener what a sustainability program means.
Oh, well, many times after you go in and give a speech or give a training seminar, they often call that one and done. It's just a plop. And it's like, okay, that was great. I learned some great skills. How are we going to stick this? How are we going to make sure the behavior changes? How do we keep people excited and motivated about the content? So sustainability is literally, how do we sustain this learning and implement it and get the behavioral piece switched, or else people are just going to go back to work and do what they've always done.
Yeah. So you build into their world new tools and new processes so that their habit patterns evolve in the direction of productivity.
Yes, whether it's they want to do a study group, they need a leader's guide and a discussion guide. They're going to get together as teams once a week for 6 weeks. They'll have an accountability partner, or they'll watch a video. I have one series that's every week for a year. I'm in front of them, in their inbox, in their face, 3 minutes, and I write training blueprints so that here's what you're going to talk about in the staff meeting this week. So
the training blueprint lets them do the teaching, but they're using your principles, and it's
use my principles. It's like
simplified for them.
Exactly. Here's the 3 points, here's 3 discussion questions, and here's a little 10-minute activity to do in your next meeting. So it helps the leaders kind of scale that and take that and push it down into the organization. And it depends on what the meeting was, who was there, what level, what the audience was, what their challenges were. So everyone ends up being just a little bit different.
Well, I want our viewers to notice what Laura's been describing. If you think of your own business, whether your business is a beauty shop or you're doing office deliveries or whatever it happens to be, if you're running a transmission repair company, it doesn't matter what the business is. You can take the thinking that you just witnessed and apply that to yours. Because if people only look at the product or the service you provide and they don't think beyond that, then you're a commodity. It's like lettuce. Okay, this lettuce is 39 cents a head and that one's 45. I'm going with 39. Right? No differentiation. But if they look at you and they realize that what you're about is not the process, not the performance, not the show up, but the effect of it. It's like I was saying in an audience or to an audience in Winston-Salem, North Carolina yesterday. I said, my topic this morning is thankfulness, gratitude. And it's not important to thank people. And then I just stood there. and they were shocked. And then someone said, yes, it is. And I said, okay. And I got down off the stage and I walked through the audience and I said, thank you, and shook hands with like 11 people. Then I went back up to the stage. I said, was that nice? They said, yes. I said, was it important? No, because it was meaningless. I mean, it was just a courteous gesture. It's not important that we thank people, process. It's important that they feel thanked, outcome. Mm-hmm. It's not important that Laura gives a great speech, which she does, which is entertaining and exciting and motivating and all that. What's important is that you're more productive after you've been in her audience. You're more productive after you've used her tools. Your company now has more output and more profitability because you're using her tools, and she didn't cost you money. She made you money by you paying her to be there. So think about your own business and think about, okay, how can we focus more on the outcomes and let the process simply be a tool, or one of many ways we could get there.
And once you're the expert, you can pretty much listen to someone for 20 minutes and know, because you've talked to 80 other companies that year.
And you understand the underlying principles.
Exactly. And we never pretend to participate on fees. You can absolutely, you can find anyone in your field, in your niche, in your business who does what you do, but does it in a kind of 101 type of manner. And I want to kind of elevate that. It's a boutique brand, a boutique business, and you're paying for that expertise and for the benefit and the result of me having been there. And you have to be able to prove that, to document it, to have, whether you use case studies or you do assessments or you do analysis or you find out from your customers what the outcomes were and what the benefits are. And I think a lot of people spend enough time tracking that, but it's really easy to justify an investment in your services if you can.
We're talking.
I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
I was just going to remind people that just joined us, we're talking to Laura Stack, the Productivity Pro, and Jim Cathcart is the motivation expert. So we got two powerhouses going at it here, sharing some great ideas. And if you have somebody in your life that you think would benefit from being motivated or more productive, please share this with others in Facebook, or if you know of people, let people know about the extraordinary life. But let's go ahead and continue the conversation, Jim, and maybe Laura can give us a couple of immediate strategies that she includes in some of her resources for those people that maybe want to become more productive.
You bet. And let me, by the way, give people a quick way to think about each of us. David, you can go to ehealthcoaching.com, right? Or you can go to theextraordinarylife.com and reach David. You can go to themotivationexpert.com and reach me. You can go to the Productivity Pro and reach Laura. So
.com, theproductivitypro.com.
.com in all three cases, right? Laura, I'll let you answer David's question about quick tips.
Well, I think some of the things that I see in a lot of my peers, in other business owners, is that freedom creates problems for many.
Yep.
And that's why a lot of us get into business, because we have that flexibility. And I think a lot of people don't treat this like work and like a job. Mm-hmm. And just because you can go out and get your nails done during the day doesn't necessarily mean that you should. And, I grew up in the military, in a military environment. My father's a retired colonel. He taught ethics. I mean, it was very structured and disciplined and strict, and that
like that,
that really created the foundation. That was, and he could tell you why too, because he was a philosophy instructor.
Wow.
So, I don't know if that is something I've realized recently, but I think my discipline, my doing what I know I need to do, even when I don't want to, a little bit more structure in my life. I think many entrepreneurs could benefit from that type of thing, instead of saying, oh gosh, I think, it's been a rough week. I think I deserve a break, or I'm going to go throw in a load of laundry, or, I think it's time to check tickets for my next vacation. I think trying to unblur some of the blurred boundaries, which is why a lot of people got into business, because you can, for me, has had a benefit. I'm so focused during the day. And so I think that could help, to think about freedom, to think about discipline, structure, and maybe how that is working against you. Also, go ahead.
I was going to say, years ago when I was the president of the National Speakers Association, as you were a few years later,
yes.
I had a staff of 5 people and plenty of work to do, to get my own calendar filled with speaking engagements and training and consulting. And I realized going into the year, I had 36 chapters to serve of the National Speakers Association all around the country, plus international obligations with our partners. And none of it was paid. It was all volunteer, and there was no budget. I was one of those earlier presidents of NSA before we had much of a discretionary budget for the volunteer leaders. And so every day I would come into my office and there was a stack this big. And Laura's stack is such a good metaphor.
I know, right?
Stack this big of work to do for the National Speakers Association, all volunteer work, no pay. And a stack this big of the marketing work to make my own company successful. And I told my staff, first we eat, then we NSA. In other words, first we eat, then we do the volunteer work. Because checking off volunteer work feels just as satisfying as checking off profitable work if you don't distinguish between the two. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I see, in the value of what you do, is it helps people differentiate between work that just feels good because you checked it off and it was done, did the laundry, for example, versus contacted 5 new people today who didn't know about us and can benefit from our business, right?
Well, and I think if you have, as any person, a list of things you need to do, no matter what your system is or how you track that, if you don't do that correctly, you're going to accomplish, you've got 20 things to do and you do 17 of them. Great. Well, that's not so great if the 3 things that you left are the things that are going to drive your business and create growth and bring money in the door. I think it's a lot easier for some people to feel like, well, geez, it's got to get all done. I've got to do it all.
So I'll do the paperwork now because it's easy and it feels good and I can check it off.
And then you run out of time and steam and energy and you keep putting off those higher priority things. And then we wonder why we've got a big block on our schedules. I'm the type, I would rather get 5 things done out of 20 and leave 15, So the goal is not how many things you get done during the day. And I watch people work and they've got, 7 windows open in their browser and like 4 half-started emails and documents here and spreadsheet. And it's just, I think we need to get better at honing in on concentration and being focused and completing things.
Yeah, things that matter. Yeah.
Yes, that are, here are the top 3 things that I have to get done today in order for today to feel like a productive day.
Yeah.
And chain yourself to your desk. Don't be clicking over here on Facebook and
And also what comes to mind is Danny Cox's famous quote: "If you've got a frog to swallow, don't look at it too long."
Yeah. Well, ew.
Yeah.
Well,
let me throw this over to David for a minute, because one of the other aspects of Laura Stack that people don't realize is that you have also been very committed to fitness. And your husband is likewise a fitness nut, kind of a little bit like I am, but more so. And how do you work that in with all this business productivity? And I'm going to let David drive that part of the dialogue with you.
Yeah, it sounds like we're talking about priorities at the end of the day. It's about prioritizing things, but that doesn't always come easy. So, Laura, maybe you could share a little bit more about your own personal journey in prioritizing your health and how you prioritize all those activities that really matter to your business and your personal life.
Well, I mean, if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anybody. I'm cranky. I'm grumpy, and if I don't have the energy I need, I don't have energy to give to my business, and I realized long ago, and Jim, the story of I had dropped 40 pounds many years ago when you first interviewed me, and I've kept that weight off because, I know that if I don't exercise and I don't take care of myself, my energy level is so low. If you feel like putting your head down on the desk and taking a nap, you can't be productive. I was sabotaging my own productivity, and I'm supposed to be the productivity pro, and I made a decision. And when I saw the impact that it had on my productivity levels already, I thought I could do the work of 5 people. Woo, when you are healthy. My gosh, it made a tremendous impact. And I committed to never putting that weight back on again. And the way that I do it is I don't plan around it. I plan everything else around the exercise. You're never going to all of a sudden have time materialize on your schedule. Hey, look at that. There's an hour. I think I'll exercise. So the way I do it is I pay for it in advance. I book it a month in advance online, the gym that John and I go to called Orange Theory. It goes on the calendar. I invite him, and it's non-negotiable unless you are injured or sick.
Good.
Everything else works around it. That's the only way you can get it done.
Well, David lost a ton of weight, like 100 pounds. I lost 52 at one point and have kept it off. So the 3 of us have done some self-transformations that prove the value of what you just said. Now, we've only got a little bit of time left, but I want to be sure and share with people the exciting new venture you and John have going, which I get to participate in, called Leadership USA and Leadership Colorado.
Thank you for that. It is very exciting. I'm also almost more excited about this than I am about my own company. So I'm trying to keep my own company in mind. After having been president, as you were, for the National Speakers Association, I've met hundreds, thousands, literally, of speakers around the world. And I said, gosh, all this talent, if there were a way to bring them into the local communities and put on a series of events. And so I've started this company, Leadership USA, and Leadership USA Colorado is the first region. And we're starting monthly seminars in October, and we're currently selling memberships. So we have Scott Halford, Connie Deacon, Phil Van Hooser kicking off our first quarter. And there's a lot of excitement and energy, and we're bringing on members. We've got 20 so far, and selling seats. I mean, it's basically a public seminar model. You can still attend.
And so you're bringing in Hall of Fame speakers, best-selling authors, certified speaking professionals, and people like that.
High caliber. Jim Cathcart.
Thank you. There's always a world-class event going on.
That's right.
the cost of it is low because you're selling subscriptions to companies to buy, say, 10 seats for their management team, and maybe they interchange people, or maybe they send the same 10 people. But
well, sort of. They're buying they buy a membership for the organization for $6,000 for the entire year. When they buy the membership, that entitles them, instead of $4.99, which is the public seminar price, they send their leaders for $2.99. In addition, they get free quarterly seminars. They get free access to our learning library, and so there are a lot of other benefits.
And it's big, yeah.
And it is a high value, low cost investment. So people are pretty excited about it. So we're opening regions. Ed Tate just opened the Leadership USA Las Vegas region. We've got probably 10 that will be forming in the next, by the end of this year. So
if someone wants to host a region, they should contact you at?
Be a regional director. Yes, it is a business. Have to be pretty well connected in the community, sell memberships, and organizational development, HR, talent management, training and director.
LeadershipUSA.com?
LeadershipUSA.biz.
.biz.
Yep.
.biz. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Check it out.
I love it.
Thank you for asking. It's so exciting, and talk about productivity. I have to run 2 companies simultaneously. And so I'm having a lot of fun. I'm back kind of in the entrepreneurial for the first year or 2. You're kind of scrapping and working a lot. That's the investment that you need as an owner up front. I think that everybody puts in. You got to put in the hours and get the thing going. And
so where do people tune in to you day to day if they just want to be a follower of yours like I am?
Oh, well, I'm on a blog. I blog every week without fail. So they can go to my blog, theproductivitypro.com/blog, or they can subscribe via email. And they
theproductivitypro.com.
That's it. Theproductivitypro.com. Yes. And subscribe to the blog. And that would be great. I would love to stay in touch with anyone that is interested in productivity. That's all we talk about.
That's cool. I
got a couple of questions to wrap up with, Laura, if I can jump in, Jim. And I thought I'd just put you on the hot seat. Okay. So we've got a couple minutes left in the show. And if I could maybe get you to just give us a real quick, short strategy as it relates to each question. Are you ready?
Okay, sure.
So the 4 areas of doing more oftentimes comes down to deleting things off your schedule that shouldn't be there, delegating them or delaying them or deferring them to a later time. And then there's the stuff that you should really do. So as it relates to deleting things off your calendar, what's one tip, trick, tactic that you could give participants in the show or people that are watching the recording to help them to delete off stuff that's the non-essential things?
Well, I think the reason that stuff shows up on the calendar in the first place is that we aren't careful about managing our obligations, and we take on too much in our lives that are non-value added. And people ask, will you do this? Will you do that? I call it a makeup-worthy event, MWE. This is a makeup-worthy event.
Worth putting on your makeup for.
That's right. For me, is it worth putting on my makeup? And I have gotten very good at declining almost everything in my life. And I'm very careful about being committed to the things that I say yes to. And so I think you have to watch if your calendar is just this giant blue blur of unavailability, it's likely because of your inability to set boundaries with other people. And that usually comes from trying to please, ego, trying to make people think that you're so competent and so smart. And so just be really critical of the things that you give your time to. Be selfish. It's important.
Yeah, and it's not polite to say yes to people when you aren't likely to give a quality service or output.
That's true also.
Yeah.
So how about delegating? What's the number one tip that you could give away that says this is a great way to delegate, even if you don't have any staff, like delegating the laundry or the house cleaning or some things that are just not essential?
Well, you're talking to the person that does not clean. I don't cook. I don't shop. I don't do yard work. I don't do laundry. I don't do much of anything domestically. I have an assistant who does all of that for me because it's not that I can't or I'm lazy. I'm certainly not lazy. It's just not something that I get a lot of value from, and so I don't spend my time there. And so I think choose to take some money out of your pocket. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. Mm-hmm. And invest wisely in the things that will buy you time, and you can go on one less restaurant trip, buy one less sweater, and attend one less concert a month, and boom, you've got your house cleaned. So it's all about choices.
You know, Laura, our colleague Patricia Fripp, who's been a full-time professional speaker for 40 plus years, she said long ago, and she's single, by the way.
Yes.
She said, you know what I need? I need a wife. She said, I'm not interested in dating women, but I need a wife. I need somebody to take.
I have a wife. I have Holly here every single day. Every single day I have my wife.
Yeah.
And my husband doesn't want to do it either, so he's not going to.
Is there any tips, Laura, in regards to delegating that was maybe a helpful thing for you to maybe overcome the fear of having an expense maybe that you weren't recapturing with your increased productivity or activity?
I think if I would have had to do it all over again, I would have gotten rid of that fear earlier. I would have hired, for example, a bookkeeper. Start with something that just doesn't cost a lot. I use Upwork a lot. UPWORK, Upwork.com, used to be Elance. Mm-hmm. I probably have hired 250 freelance contractors on that site over the years. And so it's like anytime I have something that just needs to get done, if I don't have the staff, I've got two employees, and then they're equivalent full-time. They're both part-time, so full-time. And then a virtual assistant, I just go on Upwork and say, I need this done, and I've got 4 contracts right now of things that people are doing for me. So I delegate quite a bit, and it's actually kind of embarrassing how little people charge. Sometimes I feel bad, but it's like, like that's your business.
That's
so
right.
To the people listening, I think many people really undervalue their services, and I've often hired people who charge more, who bid more, because I know they can do a better job.
Yeah.
Right.
I get rid of a lot.
2 final questions and we'll let you go. Deferring things or delaying things that are perceived as urgent but maybe not important. How do you prioritize those?
Well, if it's urgent and not important, first you have to be asking yourself, is this the right, is this something that I should be working on? If you, I do a newsletter, so I should write the article, but I shouldn't be the one loading it up in Constant Contact and picking the lists and paying for it. I think we have all these kind of urgent tasks that we do because we haven't gotten really good at figuring out what am I uniquely capable and qualified to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think there should be a lot of urgent tasks unless you are in customer service face-to-face.
Yeah.
Even if I get an email or a phone call, my client can wait for 2 hours while I finish, working on this important project. So there's very little of that now kind of stuff that I think people should react to, unless that's your business.
Good. Last one is if you were going to encourage people to do anything above all else, besides going to the productpro.com or leadershipusa.biz, what would be the one thing that you would tell somebody to do to become more productive?
I would say go hug your loved ones.
Oh, I like the way we end that.
What else would you do? That's why you're productive. That's why you work. That's why you're motivated. I want to get as the maximum results that I can get, and I want to do it in the minimum amount of time because I want to leave my office and not work, and I want to get out on time, and I want to be with the people that I love. That's why I work. So if you need a stress relief and a quick charge, that is the win of productivity right there. That is the reward. And that's why you got to be head down and disciplined and structured and scrappy and work hard and then leave it and go and be with your loved ones.
Beautiful. That's a bit of wisdom right there. Absolutely.
We all learn it the hard way, but we learn it one way or another.
Yeah, we do. Well, what a treat. I mean, you're generous to spend this time with us, and it's been really rich with value, and I appreciate it. And I enjoy being face to face chatting with you like this. So thank you.
I do too. That was a blast. Thanks for having me, and thanks to everyone watching. It was great.
You bet. We'll post a recording of this show on theextraordinarylife.com. We've also got our free ebook there, The Extraordinary Life, 6 Steps to Create Your Extraordinary Life. So we encourage everybody to go over to the website and check it out. Like our Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/live the extraordinary life. And we'd love to continue to bring value and bring people like Laura Stack. Oh, goodness, that's amazing. And Jim Cathcart as well. So thank you for 2 Hall of Fame speakers. I'm wishing everybody a terrific Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, David. Bye, Jim. See you guys.